The single jump, one chance, one destination. The news didn't arrive via a scientific breakthrough or a government announcement. It arrived as a single, global notification push, an unblockable, encrypted message that appeared on every connected device simultaneously. The message was simply, the event is available. You have one activation. Choose wisely. No corporate logo, no return address, just a new icon, a shimmering, stylized arrow pointing everywhere and nowhere. Every human being on Earth, over 8 billion individuals, had been gifted the ability to teleport anywhere, instantly, regardless of distance or barriers. The only terrifying catch, it could only be used once. The world instantly held its breath. The initial 24 hours were a period of paralyzed global contemplation. Economic activity flatlined. Governments formed emergency task forces not to control the power, but to manage the inevitable chaos of choice. People stared out of windows, their minds cycling through every fantasy and fear. Should I teleport to the bottom of the Mariana Trench to see what no human has seen? To the hidden tomb of Cleopatra? To the surface of Mars? The weight of the single, irreversible choice was a universal, crushing burden. For Captain Leo Vance, a disgraced astronaut grounded after a disastrous deep space mission, the choice was acutely painful. Leo wasn't seeking wealth or knowledge, he was seeking redemption. His mission failure had been caused by a split-second miscalculation, a moment he replayed every night. His target wasn't a place on Earth, but a time and a location, the exact command module of his broken spacecraft, the Ether, currently tumbling silently through the Kuiper Belt, 7 billion kilometers from home. If he could reach it, he could retrieve the classified black box data that would clear his name, saving his career and his sanity. The teleport would mean certain, immediate death upon arrival. No rescue was possible at that distance, but he would die redeemed. Millions of smaller, desperate jumps began. A father, terminally ill, jumped into the hospital room of his estranged daughter in Singapore to say a final goodbye. A thief, cornered by the police, vanished into the vault of the Swiss National Bank, a jump of incredible risk, as teleporting into a confined space could be fatal. A young man, having decided wealth was meaningless, jumped to the summit of Everest, only to instantly freeze to death, leaving behind a moment of sublime, final view. These isolated acts of ultimate choice, be they noble, greedy, or futile, were documented in real time, escalating the global tension. Leo prepared his jump. He calculated the ether's exact coordinates, knowing a millimeter of error 7 billion kilometers away would mean atomization. He said quiet goodbyes to his team, who pleaded with him to use his jump to start a new, safe life. Leo refused. He keyed the final, complex sequence into his activation device, his hand trembling, his inner thought, the only one that mattered, redemption. He hit the button. The world watched the final tracking feed. Leo Vance vanished. Moments later, the feed from the deep space probe monitoring the Kuiper Belt showed a tiny, instantaneous flash of light where the ether should have been. Leo had made the jump. He was gone, and the black box data would now be retrieved, transmitted back to Earth by his now activated secondary emergency beacon. Leo Vance died a hero. The twist: the black box data arrived on Earth 4 months later. The world celebrated. Leo's name was cleared, but the data contained more than just the flight recorder. It contained a final message from Leo, scrawled on the back of the device's casing. I'm not on the ether. The coordinates were wrong. They were off by 27 kilometers. Panic struck the military and scientific community. If Leo missed the ship by 27 kilometers, he should have died instantly, vanishing into the cold void of space. Yet, the black box had been retrieved, and the emergency beacon had been activated from the inside of the command module. How? The truth, painstakingly pieced together from the final telemetry logs and the encoded jump data, was catastrophic and world-changing. The teleportation mechanism did not move the physical body, it moved the consciousness. The body remained exactly where it was at the moment of the jump, instantly going into a state of vegetative, comatose shock. The single jump was not physical travel, it was the final, instantaneous transfer of your entire self, your memories, your consciousness, your soul, to a new, target body. Leo Vance had successfully made the jump, but not into the ether. His consciousness had traveled 7 billion kilometers, but because his coordinates were faulty, his mind had failed to inhabit the lifeless. decaying body of his ship's original pilot, who died months ago, inside the ether. Instead, Leo's mind had overwritten the consciousness of the nearest living human being at the target coordinates. The nearest living person wasn't on Earth. They were a researcher manning a deep space habitat module orbiting Saturn, a person completely unrelated to Leo, who suddenly collapsed on the floor, their eyes opening to reveal the terrified, determined soul of Leo Vance, 7 billion kilometers away from the body, now sitting catatonic in Houston. The one-time teleport was a permanent psychic body swap. Every person who made the jump, the thief, the father, the mountain climber, was not dead. Their mind was now trapped in a new body at their destination, and a strange new consciousness was trapped inside their old, catatonic form. The entire event was a planetary scale, existential Russian roulette where the prize was a new life, and the cost was losing your old one forever. Leo Vance didn't die redeemed. He woke up, terrified, in the wrong body orbiting Saturn, forced to live the life of a complete stranger, all because his coordinates were off by 27 kilometers. And back on Earth, 8 billion catatonic bodies sat waiting for their original consciousness to return, or waiting for the next mind to jump into their vacant vessel. The greatest existential choice was not where to go, but whose life you were about to steal.